before we announce who is getting an award here, I would like to call 4 people to the stage for our keynote panel, namely Patricia Rogers, Devender Kasavajula, and Antoni Fabrizino. Please come to the stage together with Christoph Van Thoma. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome, welcome. Is Devender here and I'm just not seeing it because of my tiles? Yes.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes. Well, this being a Google Meet, of course, we have to play a little bit to see everything. So solution portals, they bridge technology and business, guiding, contextualizing, and inspiring action. They are the next evolutionary step, or so we believe, in helping organizations connect their digital capabilities with real-world outcomes. And I want to thank you for all the work that you put into this. And for this panel, I invited Christoph because I would like to focus on the solution portal category that you also helped to evaluate, because I know that a lot of people have started working on adding solutions into their developer portals recently. But I'm going to give the word over to Christoph, who is actually going to be leading this conversation, because he is, well, an evangelist of solution portals and a great fan of narrative documentation.
Thank you very much, Laura. And I want to also say thank you again to all the jury members, to the 3 speaking right now, and to the team for organizing. We've been very busy organizing the award. It's always a privilege to, to be part of this. It's amazing work. Solution portals, it's something that we've been thinking a lot about for a couple of years now. First, it was, I think I went back to the podcast and listened back, and first we talked about it as interface portals, but I was not really. But then, like earlier this year or last year, we started seeing this pattern that people started talking about solutions much more on developer portals, and that's when we decided to put it in as a category for the awards. So for the panel, I want to help with people that haven't been spending months thinking about this and evaluating lots and lots of portals to see how they're scoring on solution portals. Can all of you like just shortly introduce, like, what do you think is a solution portal? Like, and what is your definition of a solution portal in your own words? And I'll start with you, Antoni.
Sure. Hi, Christoph. I think for me, and again, I think the other jury panelists kind of were all in similar thought. It's how you build beyond the product experience of the portal or the user experience. So by that I mean incorporating into the portal sort of code samples that in various languages to help sort of further the integration, or how they would really identify different use cases and build on those use cases, tutorials and templates that would again just move the developer farther down that path of implementing a solution. So in my mind, those were 2 key things that I think that we looked for and that I saw in some very successful nominations.
Okay, thank you. Patricia?
Yeah, let's see. I'm thinking of some of the ones that we reviewed. I think that a solution portal, a successful solution portal, is sort of demonstrating a good understanding of the problem that the user is coming there to solve. You know, the sort of complete picture of how they would use multiple APIs in succession to discover some more and unlock some insights from the data that's being returned by the API or the solution, that has really got a lot of empathy for all the ways that the user might be trying to move forward.
Thank you. And Devender, for you?
Sure. For me, like APIs are being currently being treated as more as a products and more business enablers. So like having like APIs, we just talk about having an endpoints or specs, but now we should see beyond that. Like they are enablers for successful businesses and outcomes. So portals which have these, like which talk more about business outcomes rather than just endpoints, are great.
So like jobs to be done and the affordances of the APIs,
Yeah.
some of which might not even be known to the people that built the APIs actually. Yeah. So my next question, I want to go a little bit deeper on like, you know, the nitty-gritty that you've seen. But we don't have a super lot of time. We'll see where we get by the end of that question. But can we do the same round again, starting with Anthony? Like, what are the juicy parts? Like, what are the things that really stood out for you in some of the portals that you've reviewed that really helped to translate like the needs of a customer or of a developer into a solution that they can then start working towards? Either tell somebody else to like go and, hey, here's the asset I want you to use and continue working with, or for the person that is actually figuring out what they're trying to do. What's really stood out to you amongst the nominees?
Yeah. Good question. Good question. I think what stood out for me was, again, if you think about a solution portal, having there's so many different combinations of what a user would want to sort of, what they're looking for in terms of content. So I think one thing that stood out for me was navigation and design of the portals. Some of the ones we looked at, I think, really sort of thoughtfully thought through the discoverability of what they were presenting, and so they really built in good navigation, good visual content pieces, tiles, and so forth like that. So I found that to be something which is above and beyond just the solution components, but building out the portal as well.
So, and then you mean like navigation? It's like user journeys through like different types of categories and things like that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So not just like standard navigation elements, but like how do you build the information architecture to like really guide people through it?
Guide people and make it, again, visually comfortable, if you will. Yeah, exactly in that way. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Patricia.
Yeah, and sort of adjacent to what Anthony was just saying, I think, it's so profound and really can be very difficult to stand outside our own perspective and say, okay, how is somebody else approaching this? To really have that third person perspective of, does this make sense to somebody who's completely new? What are other things this person might have on their mind? Honestly, what are time constraints that they might have? I mean, how much time are they actually going to be able to sit and review this? Can they get as much information they need in a single 15-minute session, or are they going to have to schedule a lot of time to try to just digest all the information that we're presenting? So all that empathy, I think, for whether it's a technical person is coming to like consume concrete details about exactly how do I construct this API call, or that business person who's just trying to get a flavor for the entire what might be available through that solution portal. I think as we were evaluating the different websites, it's this constant like shifting of perspective of, does it sort of give you a path towards innovation and new things you might be able to do, or is it just very concretely, these are the 5 or 6 APIs and here's how you use them? Yeah, just getting that balance between really concrete details, technical details, and the business problem. I'm sorry, I was thinking about what Anthony had just said. Can you kind of restate your original question as well?
No. So like, what is the features that really stood out? Like, so it was interesting what you said about like empathy as the one, and that's the really hard one, because empathy is highly contextual.
That's a good point. Well, personally, I'm very I'm very visual, and if somebody can like describe the workflow, you know, if they've taken the time to sort of illustrate the workflow, with particularly showing how their APIs or SDKs work together as part of a solution, or you may start with this API for discovery, and then you're going to use this next API in this way. That for me is very helpful when, and that can be tiles, or it can just be a workflow, or it can be, you know, yeah, showing how the data comes together.
Like, and how, so one of so this is one of the first insights I picked up more than, well, 10 years ago, when we first started doing developer portals, was that, you know, you need to think outside in rather than inside out. And you hinted at that, Patricia. So like, and do you have any tips for people how to do that?
Well, yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, because we would be diving through documentation, and sometimes you would find those workflow diagrams buried pretty far down. And as a completely new person to the site, looking at it for the first time, that would have given me the context early on, but I had to sort of go a few levels deep to find the workflow. So I think making it, whatever somebody's preferred point of entry is, if you can make those diagrams available from the main page, I think that can be helpful, because truly everybody sort of does maybe discover and take that kind of information in differently. Yeah, I was actually, and then of course you have different languages that people are native in. Somebody was making the point the other day that like Lego instructions actually have no words on them at all. It's just a diagram, and it's so I think you kind of have to take into account a few ways that people explore.
Okay, thank you. Devin?
Yeah, so for me, like what really stood out was, like, as Anthony and Patricia were saying, use case driven navigation and like empathy for different personas. But I would like to add, like, few portals have also stated different integration options for a single use case. So you now have like low code, no code, and like full code options. So that also was really interesting to see in solution portal.
So I have this contrarian view that you should also have your human interfaces on there. Like when the way that what you're exposing as interfaces towards the world or interacting with you as an organization, that actually all of your interfaces belong on your, what developer portals become solution portals. So I strongly agree that, like, don't limit yourself to just your APIs. This is like now, like, yes, APIs need to be there, but maybe API is not the right thing. Maybe, you know, like APIs are the right thing if you want a scalable solution and you need a lot of traffic, then you want like something performing. But if you just need one interaction, maybe that ends up being an MCP server or something like that, or maybe that's a human that is actually answering your question. And I think I don't know when this merger will happen, but that is kind of like how I see all of this evolving. Do you have another minute, Laura? I'll assume yes. So is there, do you already see this happening? That like the merging of the digital or it's like the human interfaces are becoming digitally intermediated. It's like there's a digital interface sitting in front of the human, facilitating that interaction, also constraining it to make it more predictable and scalable, and then potentially also automatable. Do you start seeing have you seen any of this? And I know this is a bonus question, so I don't know if there's any of you who has an answer for this.
So what I see currently is like there is a human aspect in everything we build, because like APIs we should be more business outcome focused. So there needs to be a good story which needs to be told. So because like story humanizes technology. So without a good story or without a good business outcome, if you build APIs, like they are just technical specifications. They are not, they can't increase your adoption, or like they can't increase your revenue. So when you have this human intervention, when you have human talking more about this APIs, then or the software which we built, you would be talking more of business outcomes. You would be talking more of the story behind it, and that's what drives more making your dev portals more solution oriented. Like it's not a good marketing it's not only a good marketing strategy for having a good developer portal which is solution focused, but also it's a good product strategy as well.
Yeah.
Because that's what drives you, that's what people love, that was which will your dev portal will, your APIs will get sold as well, and you'll get budget for it.
Yeah. And one last observation that I've started thinking about is hypermedia APIs, like the HOS, the good old HOS. And I went back listening to one of my podcast episodes from 2 years ago with Mike Amundsen and Michael Heibe, where we were talking about like constraining API traffic using the hypermedia model for self-discovery inside of the API. Have you seen any hypermedia APIs during the evaluations this year?
In our current nominations
No?
solutions portal, I haven't
Yes.
seen any.
Yeah, okay. So I have well, I've been thinking a lot about this, and we're doing some experiments, but I think that maybe for low traffic, like especially with like an MCP scenario, this might be much more efficient than like the traditional like, well, what today like the is seen as the standard API. Well, anyway, I'd like to thank all three of you. Thank you very much for sharing your insights about this very exciting category, and for spearheading the industry and figuring out what's the future, and how will we get our developer portals being more AI friendly and human friendly at the same time. And thank you very much, Patricia, Anthony, and Devendar.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure.
Yes,
And I also thank you. And as I said, we are going to be bringing more long-form written articles because we had long, very heated discussions with this, as you have just seen.